Hello everybody, Badi here, and today I want to show you something about climbing technique. Behind me you see a wall with rather big climbing holes, and also the feet aren't that bad. You will see me climbing on this section of the wall twice, and afterwards I want you to pause the video. Whilst you pause the video, I want you to take a sheet of paper and a pen and write down every single detail that you encountered that is different between me climbing the first time and me climbing the second time. When you did that, a subtask is that you have to think about which one, climbing 1 or climbing 2, was more efficient and where did I use less power. When you did that, you can unpause the video and just follow along. I will explain to you what the key differences were and why they are important for an efficient climbing technique. So this will be the first climbing. You just sit down, relax, and watch me do this. I choose these 2 start holes and these 2 feet as a starting position. Okay, and now we go up. Use a lot of the holes there. Okay, and I choose this as a top because I shouldn't go further on this wall. Good. Okay, same top. I come down again. And now you have to hit the pause button and take the sheet of paper, write down the differences, and then come back to the video once you did that. Okay, so I hope that you like this task. Now I will give you the solutions for the key differences. First of all, your subtask, the solution is the second time was more efficient and I had to use less power for getting to the top. But why was this the case? I will explain to you now. In my first climbing, I tried to climb as you see beginners climbing. If you imagine going up a ladder, you do it like this. You grab like the rungs, I think, and then just pull and straighten your leg at the same time. You often see beginner climbers do that on the climbs that they do, and this is very inefficient. Imagine there is a pull-up bar. When you hang from a pull-up bar and you have straight arms, you can hang there for quite a bit. But if you pulled up, you start shaking, maybe after a few seconds or after maybe 10 or 20 seconds, depends on your fitness level, and then you cannot hold on to it any longer. So what I want to tell you is this position for your arms is less efficient than the straight position. But you have to be careful. You shouldn't hang or fall into your shoulder as well, so don't get your shoulders onto your ears because this is not good for your shoulders just physically, okay? So let's go back to climbing. If you do it like this, so you have start holes and then you straighten your legs and also pull with your arms at the same time and then let go, and then you keep your arms bent all the time, you're burning power that you can save as well. So the better thing to do would be to keep the arm straight. That's mainly responsible for holding your body weight in one situation. A bit cryptic there, but I want to show you. So if I take the 2 starting holds here, I straighten my right arm because this hold is slightly offset, so it's a bit further down. So my right arm holds my body weight now, and it's straight now, okay? So I can hold on to these holds better with a straight arm right than doing it like this. Because now I start to feel it in my shoulders that it gets a bit shaky. Okay, so I start like this. First difference would be in the second time I climbed, the arm that was responsible for holding my body weight was straight, or almost straight. Okay, now the second point. You can keep your arms as straight as you want, but if the holds are good and your bottom is this far from the wall, it's not efficient at all, okay? So your hip position should be as close to the wall as possible. You can do that in different styles. So, for example, if I go up here, you should see it. Let's take these two, right? So, getting my hip to the wall, I can just like do it as a frog does, like this. Or I can also turn and get my hip to the wall again. So this is also quite a huge improvement that you can do. Try to keep your hips at the wall, or as close to the wall as possible. But there's another thing that makes your hip like the center of a good climbing technique. When you saw me climb this the second time, I initiated each movement with my hip. So when you see me do this, it goes like this. So you have 2 feet. Okay, your feet are in a position where you want to stand up on one of the feet. Normally, this is the foot on the same side of your body that you want to grab to the next hold, right? So if I stand like this arm is straight, and I want to go for the next hold with my left hand, then I normally would stand up on my left foot as well, okay? So the movement goes like this. I throw my hip over my foot that I want to stand up on, and then I stand up, and while I'm standing up, I can bend this arm. It's okay, right? Because the movement comes from your hip. It doesn't come from this. It comes from your hip, okay? So it goes like, okay? I will show you this exact move again on the wall. So, in contrast, first time of climbing, like this, maybe I have to take this arm, I can go for this as well, but now I had to use a lot of power in my right arm and shoulder, right? So if instead I do it like this, stand onto the feet, get back a little bit, okay, so I use the momentum and then I go up like this. Here I initiated the movement with my hip, and it was way more efficient than the first time. Okay, so now we talked about keeping your arms straight. We talked about you have one foot that you want to stand on, and you have to throw your hip over this foot and then stand on and grab. What else is quite important? Yes, so it has to do with straightening the arms. So if your arm is straight in a position, let's say this position, and I want to get my feet higher, it is not recommended to pull at the same time. So in Germany we call it entkoppelt klettern. What would be the same thing in English? Let me think about it. So you can just, I have to describe it. Your upper body does something different than your lower body. They don't work in sync here, right? Later they do, but right now not, okay? So you have the 2 holds there, and you do not go up like this, but you keep your arm straight, and you can also get into another position with feet without bending your arms. And now, my right foot would be the foot that I want to stand up on. I can initiate the movement with my hip again, so from this side, and then I go. Okay, so what you saw now is like the other direction. Here I went left, and now I went right. So you can do this in both directions. Another important thing to know is that this is not the case, or you cannot use this technique for each and every climbing situation. For example, if there is like an arête, or maybe two walls are together like this, you can just use like your feet on either of the walls and then go up like this. This is also very efficient, but straightening your arms, the hip movement, it's a whole lot different. So this works for not that steep wall climbing, okay? Okay, so we had straight arms, hip as the center of movement. The hip initiates your movement. Then you stand up and you grab the next hold. And the third part was that your upper body moves not in sync with your feet when you are preparing the next move. So you get your feet up, but you hold your arm that holds your body weight in this situation straight, or as straight as possible. Then you come up with your feet, initiate the movement by your hip, and then you go up. Now I hope that you understand this, because it's quite abstract and quite difficult to understand, but I showed you, and if there are any more questions to this topic, you can also post it down in the comments and I try to respond to that, okay? But I think the main differences should be clear now, and let me know if this works for you. You should use this, or you should train this in very, very easy climbs for you, or in easy boulders that are not that overhung. Because if you go to your project and try to do this right away, it won't work that well, okay? So you have to try to do this in the easier climbs that you do, and maybe in your warm-up. You can utilize your warm-up for learning something new. It's quite a good thing to do. And then it will translate to the harder routes automatically. Very nice. We see each other next time, and goodbye.